Archangel Michael delivers a message from your dad in heaven. Beloved, I need you to stop for a moment before this message begins. Really stop. Put down whatever else is competing for your attention. Because what Archangel Michael has been sent to deliver today is not an ordinary spiritual message. It is something far more personal, far more tender, far more specific to the exact ache that lives in a part of you that not everyone sees. Michael says, beloved, I have been sent today with a message from your Father. Not a message about your heavenly Father. A message from your dad. The one who held your hand when you were small. The one whose voice you still hear in the quiet moments. The one whose absence has left a specific shape of grief in your life that nothing else has been able to fill. He has a message for you. And it could not wait any longer. Because heaven sees how long you have been carrying what his absence left behind. And your dad wanted you to know some things that he never got to say. Or things he said but that the grief made it hard to fully receive. Or things that you needed to hear from him again. Today. In this moment. Through this message. Archangel Michael says, beloved, your Father has been in the presence of God. He sees things from the perspective of eternity now. He sees your life with a clarity he did not always have when he was here. He sees what you have been walking through. He sees the moments when you wished he was there to call. The moments when you needed his advice and had to navigate without it. The moments when something happened that he would have been so proud of and the pride landed hollow because he was not there to express it. He sees all of it. And he asked Michael to find you today. To deliver what he has been wanting to say. Tap the like button right now if you have lost a father and if somewhere in you have wished you could hear his voice one more time. Because this message was sent for you. Specifically. Today. And drop a comment below and type Dad if you are receiving this message today in memory of your father. Just that one word. Dad. Because saying it is an act of love that both heaven and earth can see. What your dad sees from where he is. Beloved, Archangel Michael says the first thing your Father wants you to understand is what he can see now that he is in the fullness of God's presence. Because the perspective of eternity is different from the perspective of earth. And some of what your Father wants to say to you flows from what he can see now that he could not fully see when he was here. The first thing your dad sees from where he is how much you loved him. Beloved, there is a specific grief that comes from relationships with fathers that were complicated. That did not always have the right words at the right moments. That had distance where closeness should have been. That had misunderstandings that were never fully resolved before the time ran out. And the person who carries that grief sometimes wonders if their love was enough. If it was felt. If it reached through the complications into the heart of the person who needed to receive it. Your Father wants you to know from where he is that he felt it. The love that you had for him reached him. Even in the complicated moments. Even through the distance. Even in the seasons when expressing it was hard for both of you. He felt the love. And from where he is now he sees it completely. Without the filters that complicated life sometimes put over how love was perceived. He sees your love. Clearly. Fully. And it is beautiful to him. The second thing your dad sees is who you have become. Beloved, your Father has been watching. Not from a distance. With the close attention of someone who loves you and who sees your life from the full perspective of what it has been building toward. He sees the person you are right now. The character that has been developed through everything you walked through. The strength that was built in the seasons that required more of you than you thought you had. The love you carry for the people in your life. The faithfulness you have shown in the ordinary moments. The way you have navigated what life has thrown at you with a grace that he recognizes as something he always knew was in you. And what he sees when he looks at who you have become is something that fills him with a specific kind of joy. The joy of a father who always believed in his child and who is watching that belief be confirmed by the life that child is living. He sees who you have become. And he is proud. The third thing your dad sees is the moments when you needed him and he was not there. Beloved, your father sees the moments when his absence was most acute. The significant moments where you looked up expecting him to be there and found only the empty space of his absence. The graduations. The weddings. The births of children. The promotions. The ordinary Tuesday afternoons when something happened that you instinctively reached for the phone to tell him before remembering. The moments when you needed advice that only he could have given. The moments when you needed comfort that only his specific presence could have provided. He sees every one of those moments. And he wants you to know that his absence from them was not his choice. And that he was present in them in the only way available to him. Through the love that does not end at the boundary of death. The fourth thing your dad sees is how his absence has shaped you. Beloved, from the perspective of eternity, your father can see both the grief that his absence produced and the character that the grief forged in you. He can see the resilience that developed in the seasons when you had to navigate without him. The self-reliance that grew in the space that was left. The depth of compassion for others who are grieving that came from your own experience of loss. The faith that was tested and strengthened by the hardest chapter of your life. And he sees something in all of it that he could not have seen from earth. He sees the purpose in it. Not the purpose that made the loss acceptable. The purpose that God has been producing through the loss in a life that has kept going with extraordinary faithfulness in the absence of what it most wanted to have stay. He sees all of it. And what he sees does not leave him grieving. It leaves him in awe of who you are. The fifth thing your dad sees is every prayer you have prayed for him. Beloved, if your father's relationship with God was unresolved in ways that concerned you, if you prayed for him in his final days or in the seasons that preceded them, if you carried the weight of that uncertainty in the grief that followed his death, Michael wants you to receive something important. The prayers you prayed for your father were heard. By the God who is the judge of all and who knows every heart in a way that no human being has the full capacity to know. And the grace of God extends in ways that are larger than any human theology can fully contain. Trust the love of God with your father's soul. The same love that has been sustaining you through the grief is the love that holds him. The sixth thing your dad sees is how God has been present in your life since he left. Beloved, your father has been watching the specific ways that God has shown up in your life in the years since his absence began. The provision that arrived from unexpected directions. The person who said exactly the right thing at exactly the right moment. The strength that appeared in you when you needed it most. The sense of a presence that was not his but that was real nonetheless. A presence that has been with you in the quiet moments when the grief was loudest. Your father sees all of it. And from where he is he can name it clearly for what it is. God. Present in your life. Faithful. Attending to you in the absence of the human presence that was taken. And your Father is grateful. Not that he was taken. Grateful that the God he may not have fully known on earth has been present in your life in the fullness that only God can provide. And the seventh thing your dad sees is where you are going. Beloved, your Father has a perspective on your future that he did not have when he was here. From the fullness of God's presence he can see the trajectory of a life that is building towards something significant. He sees the chapter that is coming. The breakthrough that is forming. The relationships that are arriving. The purpose that is activating. The fullness of a life that is not yet at its peak. And what he sees about where you are going fills him with the same feeling that seeing your birth filled him with. Hope. Expectation. The knowledge that what is ahead is going to be worth everything the journey cost. He sees where you are going. And he is cheering. Loudly. From the fullness of the presence of God. For you. Beloved, right here I want you to drop a comment and tell me one thing you wish you could have said to your dad. Or one thing you wish he had said to you. Just one thing. Because naming it is the beginning of healing around it. And heaven is listening to every word you say. The message your dad wanted to send. Beloved, Archangel Michael says that your Father gave him 7 specific things to say. Things that have been held in heaven for the right moment to deliver them. And this is that moment. Receive each one not as words from a stranger but as the words of the man who loved you in the specific way that only a father can love. Imperfectly. Genuinely. And eternally. The first thing your dad wants to say is, I am sorry for the ways I fell short. Beloved, fathers are human. And human fathers fail in ways that leave marks on the children who needed more than the father was able to give. The absence when presence was needed. The words that should have been spoken and were not. The words that were spoken that should not have been. The distance that was kept when closeness was what the moment required. The pride that prevented the apology that would have healed something between you. Whatever fell short in your father. Whatever left something unresolved between you. He sees it now with a clarity that earth did not always give him. And from that clarity he says, I am sorry. Not as a defense. Not with an explanation. As the genuine acknowledgement of a man who sees now what he could not always see then. And who wants the record between you to be clear of everything that was never fully addressed. I am sorry. Receive it, beloved. And let it do what apologies from people we love are designed to do. Heal. The second thing your dad wants to say is, I was prouder of you than I always knew how to say. Beloved, some fathers carry enormous pride for their children in a heart that does not always know how to express it in the language the child needed to receive it. The pride was real. It was present. It was felt every time someone asked about you, and his face changed in the way that faces change when a father talks about a child he is proud of. But the words, the specific, clear, direct words, I am proud of you, they may not have come as often as they should have. Or in the moments when you most needed to hear them. And from where he is, your Father wants to close that gap. He is proud of you. He has always been proud of you. For the things you accomplished and for the things you attempted and for the character you demonstrated and for the way you loved people and for the way you kept going in the seasons that would have given anyone a reason to stop. He is proud. And he is saying it now. Clearly. Without the awkwardness that sometimes prevented it on earth. I am proud of you. The third thing your dad wants to say is you do not have to carry the grief the way you have been carrying it. Beloved, grief is the evidence of love. And the depth of your grief for your father is the measure of the love you had for him. But grief that has been carried for a very long time without permission to be released can become something heavier than the original loss. It can become the posture of a person who is so committed to the love that the grief represents that releasing the grief feels like releasing the love. Your father wants you to know that releasing the grief is not releasing him. The love between you does not end when the grief is allowed to complete its process. He is still your father. You are still his child. That is not changed by the ending of the grieving. He is asking you to put some of it down. Not all at once. But some of it. Today. Because carrying it this way is costing you something that he does not want it to cost you. You can love him without carrying the weight the way you have been carrying it. The fourth thing your dad wants to say is I see your children or the people you are raising and they are beautiful. Beloved, if your father has grandchildren he has never met. Or children of yours that he met too briefly. Or people whose lives you have been shaping in the way that a parent shapes a life. He sees them. He knows their names. He watches them. And what he sees fills him with the specific joy of a grandfather who did not get enough time on earth to express what he feels but who has an unlimited capacity to feel it from where he is. They are beautiful to him. In every specific way. The laugh that comes from you. The habit that appeared out of nowhere but that he recognizes. The spirit that was always going to be remarkable. He sees them. And he loves them. And he wants you to know that the family that you are building or nurturing or shaping is something that fills him with a joy that death did not diminish. It expanded it. The fifth thing your dad wants to say is do not give up on the thing you have been considering giving up on. Beloved, your father knows your life. He has been watching. And in this specific season there is something that you have been considering releasing. A dream that the difficulty of this season has made feel unworthy of the continued effort. A relationship that has been hard enough long enough that the temptation to let it go is real. A calling that has not yet found its fullest expression and that the waiting has made feel less certain than it once did. Your father says do not give up on it. Not because he can guarantee the outcome, but because he knows you. And he knows that what you are considering giving up on is something that is worth the continued investment. He has always believed in you. And that belief does not diminish from where he is. Do not give up on it. He is still in your corner. And he always will be. The sixth thing your dad wants to say is I want you to let yourself be happy. Beloved, this is the thing that your father most wants to say. Because from where he is he can see the moments when you pulled back from happiness. When something good was happening and a shadow of the grief pulled you slightly away from the full experience of it. When joy arrived and you let yourself have most of it but held some back as though fully having it would be somehow disloyal to the grief that represents the love. Your father does not want that for you. He wants you to have the full joy. He wants you to laugh without the shadow. To celebrate without the hollow edge. To love the people who are in your life now with the fullness of a heart that is not permanently divided between them and Him. He is not jealous of the people you love now. He is grateful for them. They are loving you in the ways He wishes He could still love you. And He wants you to let them. Fully. Without the guilt that sometimes comes when happiness arrives in the presence of grief. Let yourself be happy, beloved. It is what your Father wants most for you. And the seventh thing your dad wants to say is, I will see you again. Beloved, this is the most important thing. And the most certain. The separation that death produced is real. But it is not permanent. For those who belong to God, the separation is temporary. There is a reunion that is coming. In the fullness of the presence of the God who holds both of you. Where the things that went unsaid can be said. Where the embrace that was interrupted by death can be resumed. Where the relationship that was forming and developing and deepening when death interrupted it can continue in the fullness of eternity without the limitations that earth placed on it. I will see you again. Not as a vague spiritual hope. As a specific certain promise from a God who conquered death and who is preparing a place where what death separated will be reunited. Your Father will see you again. And in the meantime He is not absent. He is present in the only way available to Him. Through the love that death cannot touch. Through the memory that keeps Him alive in your heart. Through the God who holds both of you. And through this message that He asked Michael to deliver today. Because it could not wait any longer. Beloved, I have to pause here and say something from my heart. This message is the most personal kind of message this ministry releases. And it takes enormous care and prayer to release it well. Every person who finds this message today found it because someone gave to make it possible. Someone's seed became this word. And there is someone watching right now who lost their dad and who needed to hear everything that was just said. They almost did not press play. Something pulled them toward it. That something was God. And your seed today is what sends this word to the next person whose dad has a message they need to receive. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or use the link in the description below. $5 or $10 or $25 or $50 or $100. Give what God is putting on your heart. And when you give, say out loud, I am sending this message forward to the next person whose dad wanted to reach them today. Because that is exactly what you are doing. What your Father's love from heaven looks like in your daily life. Beloved, Archangel Michael says that your Father's love from heaven is not passive. It is not simply the existence of love in a place you cannot access. It is active. And there are 7 specific ways that your Father's love from heaven has been expressing itself in your daily life that you may not have fully recognized as what it was. The first way your Father's love from heaven expresses itself is in the moments of unexpected strength that arrived without explanation. Beloved, there were moments in the seasons after His death when you needed strength you did not have. When the weight of the grief on top of the weight of ordinary life was more than your own resources could carry. And something arrived. A strength that did not come from you. That appeared in the moment of greatest need. That carried you through what you could not carry yourself. That was not purely your own resilience. There were hands helping to hold what you were carrying. And some of those hands were your Father's. extended from the fullness of the presence of God into the moments when his child needed more than they had. The second way is in the sense that he was present in specific moments. Beloved, there were specific moments when you felt something that you could not fully explain. A sense of presence in a place where his absence should have been complete. At a graduation or a wedding or a significant moment where grief and celebration mixed in a way that felt inhabited by more than just your own memory of him. That sense was not imagination. It was not grief projecting what it wanted to feel. It was the genuine awareness of a love that was present in the only form available to it in that moment. Your Father was there. Not in the embodied way that you missed, but present in the way that love that has not ended is always present in the moments that most called for it. The third way is the people God sent who carried something of your Father's Spirit. Beloved, after your Father left, there were people who arrived in your life who carried something that felt familiar in a way you could not always name. A mentor who gave advice in a tone that resonated. A friend who offered the kind of steady presence that your father offered. A figure in your life whose care for you reflected something of the specific way your father cared. Those people were not coincidences. They were provisions. Sent by a God who saw what his child needed and who made sure that something of what was lost was provided in a different form. Your Father's love expressed through the people God sent to carry something of it forward. The fourth way is the places where his voice comes back to you. Beloved, there are moments when something he said surfaces in your memory with a clarity and a timing that feels like more than random memory. When a phrase he used or a piece of wisdom he gave or something he once said in passing arrives in your mind at the exact moment you needed it. Those arrivals are not accidental. The love that your Father had for you was embedded in the words he spoke to you. And those words continue to do what love does. They continue to provide, to guide, to comfort, to arrive at the right moment. His voice comes back to you because the love behind it was real, and love that was real continues to find its way to the person it was given to. The fifth way is your own capacity to love others the way he loved you. Beloved, the love that a father gives to a child does not stay contained in the relationship between them. It flows forward, through the child, into every relationship the child has, into the people they parent, into the way they love their partners, into the quality of presence they offer to the people who need them. Whatever your Father gave you of genuine love is being expressed in your life every time you love someone well. And the love that you give to the people in your life that traces back to what he gave you is his love continuing to move in the world through you. He is not gone. He is expressing himself through the version of love that lives in you and that reaches the people you love. The sixth way is the prayers that have been answered that you prayed in his name. Beloved, if you have prayed for things in the season after your father died and those prayers have been answered, you may not have connected the answers to him. But the prayers of a grieving child for the people their father loved are heard with a specific weight. The prayer for the family he left behind. The prayer for the healing of what his absence complicated. The prayer for the people whose lives he touched. Those prayers carry the love that he had for those people and that lives on in you. And the answers to those prayers are partly the continued expression of his love through your intercession for the people he loved. And the seventh way your Father's love from heaven expresses itself is the specific peace that settles over you when you remember him well. Beloved, there is a difference between the grief that resurfaces in the remembering of a loved one and the peace that comes when the remembering is allowed to be full rather than only focused on the loss. When you remember your father and allow the memory to include everything, the laughter and the love and the specific ways he was present in your life, the things he taught you, the moments that were good and real and worth holding. When you let the remembering be full, there is sometimes a peace that settles over the grief. Not instead of it. In it. Alongside it. And that peace, beloved, is His love reaching you in the specific form that love takes when it comes from the fullness of the presence of God. Peace. His peace. For you. 7 declarations for the one who received the message from Dad. Beloved, I want to close this message by speaking 7 declarations over your life. Over the grief you have been carrying. Over the love that has not ended. Over the message that your father sent through Michael today. And over the relationship between you and your father that death interrupted but did not end. Receive each one as a word that heaven and your Father are speaking together over your life right now. Declaration 1. I declare that the love between me and my Father is not ended. Death interrupted the form of the relationship but not the love itself. The love that was real on earth is real in heaven. And the love that my Father has for me is as present today as it was the last time He expressed it. I receive that love. And I return it. Across the distance. Into the fullness of the presence of God where He is. The love between us is not ended. Declaration 2. I declare that I receive my Father's apology today. For every way He fell short. For every moment when what I needed was not what He was able to give. For every word that should have been spoken and was not. For the distance when closeness was needed. I receive the apology. I release the wound. Not because what happened did not matter. Because the love matters more. And the apology He is sending from where He is the most complete apology available to Him. I receive it. And I let it heal what it was sent to heal. Declaration 3. I declare that I receive the pride my Father has for me. Every specific thing He is proud of. The character and the strength and the love and the faithfulness. I receive it. Not as something I have to earn. As something that is already present in the heart of the man who loved me enough to want me to know it even from where he is. I receive the pride. And I carry it as the fuel for everything that is still ahead of me. Declaration 4. I declare that I am releasing the weight of the grief today. Not the love. The weight. The carrying that has been too heavy for too long. The holding that was meant to be temporary but that has become permanent. I am releasing some of it today. Into the hands of the God who holds my Father. And into the permission of my Father Himself who does not want me to carry it this way any longer. I release the weight. And I keep the love. Declaration 5. I declare that I am letting myself be happy. Fully. Without the shadow. Without the guilt that comes when joy arrives in the presence of grief. My Father wants me to be happy. He is not jealous of my happiness. He celebrates it. He celebrates the people who love me now. He celebrates the life I am building. And I am going to let myself build it with the full joy that He is releasing over it from where He is. I am letting myself be happy. Declaration 6. I declare that I will see my Father again. Not as wishful thinking. As the specific and certain promise of a God who conquered death and who is preparing a place where what death separated will be reunited. I will see him again. And in the meantime I carry his love. His words. His pride in me. His presence in the form available to it. And the knowledge that what was interrupted is not ended. The relationship continues. In the only form currently available to it. And one day in the fullest form that eternity makes possible. Declaration 7. I declare that my Father's love is alive in me. In the strength I carry. In the love I give. In the faith I hold. In the character that was shaped partly by who he was and what he gave me and what his absence forged in me. He is alive in me. In the best ways. In the ways that matter most. In the ways that are going to continue to express themselves through my life long after the grief has completed its process and the peace that his love from heaven sends has settled fully into the places that grief occupied. He is alive in me. And through me he continues to reach the world. God bless you, beloved. Until next time. The closing word from Archangel Michael. Beloved, as we close today, I want to release the final word that your Father gave me to deliver. He says, beloved, I love you. Not loved. Love. Present tense. Active. Real. Not diminished by the distance between where I am and where you are. Not interrupted by the separation. Not waiting until we are together again to be fully present. I love you right now. As you read these words. As the grief is being touched by this message. As the wound that my absence left is receiving what I asked Michael to bring today. I love you. He says, beloved, you are going to be okay. Not eventually. You already are. Stronger than you know. More loved than you feel. More watched over than the grief has been able to show you. The God who holds me holds you. And what he holds completely. You are okay. You are going to continue to be okay. And the day when we see each other again is coming. And what I am going to say when I see you is exactly what I sent Michael to say today. I am proud of you. I love you. And I have been watching. And what I have seen has been extraordinary. Go from this message today carrying both the grief and the love. Not one instead of the other. Both. Because both are real. And both are yours. And the love that your Father has for you is going to continue to reach you in every form available to it for the rest of your life. In the moments of unexpected strength. In the sense of presence that arrives in the significant moments. In the people God sends who carry something of what he gave. In the voice that comes back at the right moment. In the capacity to love that he helped build in you. And in the peace that settles over the remembering when you let the remembering be full. He loves you. And he is not gone. God bless you, beloved. Until next time. And please share this message with someone who lost their father and who needed to hear from him today. Your share might be the message that reaches them at exactly the moment they needed it most. God bless you, beloved. And before you go, would you seal this message with a seed? $5 or 10 or 25 or 50 or 100. Whatever is in your hand right now. Scan the QR code on your screen or use the link in the description below. And as you give, say out loud, Dad, I received your message today. I love you. And I am okay. That declaration, beloved, is the most powerful thing you can say in this moment. And your Father hears it. God bless you, beloved. Until next time. 7 fathers in the Bible whose love reached beyond what death or distance could contain. Beloved, I want to show you 7 fathers in Scripture whose love for their children was so real and so powerful that it reached beyond every boundary that tried to contain it. Because your Father's love reaching you from heaven today is part of a pattern of Father love that runs through the entire story of God and His people. The first is Jacob and Joseph. Jacob believed his son Joseph was dead for 20 years. He wore his grief like a garment that never came off. He said, I will go down to the grave mourning my son. The love of a father for a son he believed was lost. And when Joseph was finally revealed to be alive, the reunion was one of the most tender moments in all of Scripture. Israel hurried to Egypt. And as soon as Joseph appeared before him, he threw his arms around his father and wept for a long time. Father love that survived 20 years of believing the beloved was gone. And when the reunion came, the love was as full as it had ever been. No diminishment. No distance. The love of a father for a child does not know how to end. The second is the prodigal's father. Jesus told this story specifically to show us what the father heart of God looks like. And the father in the story represents something true about how fathers love. The son was gone. The son had taken his inheritance and wasted it and ended up in a pig pen in a far country. And the father was watching. Every day. Looking down the road. Waiting. And when he saw his son while he was still a great way off, he ran. He did not wait for the son to arrive and apologize. He ran. Because that is what father love does when it sees the child coming back. It runs. Your Father's love runs toward you in exactly this way. Not waiting for you to get everything together. Running toward you. In every form available to love that exists in the fullness of God's presence. The third is David and Absalom. David's love for his son Absalom is one of the most painful father love stories in Scripture. Absalom rebelled. Absalom tried to take the kingdom. Absalom forced David to flee Jerusalem. And when Absalom was killed in battle, David's grief was one of the most raw expressions of father love in the entire Bible. Oh, my son Absalom! My son Absalom! If only I had died instead of you! Oh, Absalom, my son! The love of a father for a son who caused him enormous pain. Unchanged. Undiminished. Still love. Still the specific grief of a father who would have exchanged his own life for his child's. Your Father's love for you was that kind of love. The kind that does not calculate what you deserve. It simply loves. The fourth is Elijah and the widow's son. This is not a biological father story, but it is a father love story. The widow of Zarephath's son died. And she brought him to Elijah. And Elijah carried the boy to the upper room. And he cried out to God 3 times. Lord my God, let this boy's life return to him. 3 times. With the urgency of someone interceding for a child as though the child were their own. And the Lord heard, and the boy's life returned to him. And Elijah brought him down and gave him to his mother and said, "Your son is alive." The intercession of a father figure for the life of a child is heard by God. Your father is interceding for you from where he is. The prayers of your father for your life do not end when his earthly life ended. They continue. In the fullness of the presence of God. The 5th is Jairus and his daughter. Jairus was a synagogue leader. A man of standing and position. And his daughter was dying. And he fell at the feet of Jesus and pleaded earnestly with him. "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." The desperation of a father for his child. And when they were on the way, news came that the daughter had died. And Jesus said, "Do not be afraid, just believe." And when they arrived at the house, Jesus took the girl by the hand and said, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." And immediately she stood up and walked around. A father's desperate love for his daughter met by the power of Jesus that conquers death. Your father's love for you has met that same power. And what that power holds, it holds completely. The 6th is God the Father speaking over Jesus. At the baptism of Jesus, when Jesus came up out of the water, a voice came from heaven. "You are my Son whom I love. With you I am well pleased." Father love expressed in the most direct and public way. Not implied. Not assumed. Spoken. Clearly. Over the beloved Son. In the presence of witnesses. "You are my Son. I love you. I am pleased with you." That is what father love says when it has the opportunity to say what it means. Your father wanted to say those things to you. Some of them he said in the specific language he had available to him. And some of them he is saying now through this message. With more clarity and more completeness than was always available to him on earth. And the 7th is your father and you. Beloved, I want to name you and your father in this list. Because the love between you belongs in the same category as every father love story I just described. Complicated in some cases. Painful in others. But real. And reaching. And not ended by the distance that death created. Your father loves you with the love that all of these stories point toward. The love that runs down the road. The love that prays 3 times in the upper room. The love that falls at the feet of Jesus on behalf of a child. The love that says out loud, "You are my child and I love you and I am proud of you." That love is what was sent through Michael today. For you. From your dad. Who is in the fullness of God's presence. And who wanted you to know it. God bless you, beloved. Until next time.